All right, so to work with the React router navigation, so we have to install a certain packages. So let's go ahead and install that packages first. So I'm going to stop my server and I'm going to add the necessary packages. So let's say yarn add React router DOM. So this is the package that we need to configure our router navigation. So make sure that you spell it properly, yarn add React router DOM. So hit the enter option, so that will download those necessary packages. So basically, if you want to know much more about the React router DOM, so click search for React router DOM. So that will take you to the package installer. And if you want to learn much more, so there you can see this guide option inside this npm package installer, or you can directly open their official website by clicking the next link over there. So if you are using this React components or React router DOM for a very first time, so please go through their documentation. That will gives you a nice idea or quick overview about their packages. So don't worry guys. So I got your back. In this case, we are going to configure everything from the ground. All right. So let's close this. We don't need that. And here, let's get back to the index.js. So here we need to add these two packages first. So let's go here, import that packages. So we need to import this browser router, which is provided by your React router DOM itself. So that's what we need to use. So here I'm going to import it from the React router DOM. So here import that browser router as I'm going to shout it out. So I'm just going to say router, not router. All right, so we need to wrap this complete app inside our router application. So what we are going to do is I'm just going to create the router, and inside here I'm going to bring our app, save the changes. All right, so then what we need to do is, so initially this will load the app.js. So that means our app.js is going to be our home component. So whatever you're seeing, it's going to come to our home component over here. All right, so let's get back to our project over here. You can see if I refresh it here, so that's loading this nice screen and it's taking the user to our /home/project, which is going to be the initial route. It's not directly taking to the local host or your local domain over there. No, it's directly taking the user to the /home, and inside the /home we have the project. All right, so let's go ahead and configure the route. So basically app.js, of course, it's going to load the width, load the screen height and screen width, and of course it's going to be flex and flex item center and justify everything. It's to be it's going to be in the starting position. So I'm just going to change all these things to start. All right, save these changes and let's fire it up. Yarn start. So let me bring it side by side. So let's bring this app on that next desktop screen, and let me keep it in the side view so that we can see the output instantly. All right, so now we can able to see here, we can be having the app on the top left corner. Of course it is in the top left corner. All right, so next what we need to do is, let me enable the word wrap so that you can see clearly. Cool. Now inside this division, so basically what we need to do is, and this should not bring anything outside of the screen. So I'm just going to add the overflow as hidden. So now with the overflow, it's completely hidden. So then I need to bring the routes. What are the routes that I'm going to display over here? So basically in the home route over here, in the home route, we can able to see I can switch between the login, and as well as I can go back to the home screen also, right? So what I need to do is I'm just going to say bring the routes, which is of course coming from your React router DOM. All right, inside the routes I'm going to create each and every route one after another. All right, so first route is going to be path. It's going to be /home/start. So whatever the route which is coming after the /home, like it can be auth, or it can be projects, or it can be new project, or it can be user profile, whatever the route which is coming after that /home, that's need to load this very specific container, which is nothing but our home container, which is we haven't created. So this is the element that it needs to be loaded. So what I need to do is jump into the source folder and create a new folder called container. And inside this container folder, I'm just going to create a new file called home.jsx. And inside this home.jsx, I'm just going to say or fce. So in this project, home is not just a single container that we are going to use it. We're going to have multiple containers. So I'm just going to create a new file called index.js to export all the containers from a single place. So here I'm just going to say export default as home from where? From /home. So by this way, we can avoid the multiple import statement over here in the app.jsx. So now if I import this, you can see it's coming from the container /home. So think about it, you have 5 to 6 containers. So every single time it will use to import it like this. Like just like this. Right, a multiple import statement will get imported. So to avoid this, what we can do is, that's the reason we use that index.js to export all the containers from a common place. All I have to say is just like this container, and let's open this object and import it as an object. So now inside this, I just need to add comma, that another container name, comma, keep on adding the containers just by adding the comma over there. All right, so that will maintains all the imports of the components in a single statement. Fine. So now you can see, even if I'm refreshing it, it's still in the home route. That means it is in the root route. So basically we have to configure it to our home, right? This should takes the user to the home. So what I need to do is, once I refresh it, that's taking the user. So if I refresh this, you can see if I'm stopping the server, if I stop the server and if I run it once again, that will takes the user to the local host :3000. That means the initial route, because that is not our initial route. Our initial route is going to be the /home/start. So what I need to do is to change your initial route. That means if the route is not matching, then we need to reroute the user completely. So route path is the route. That means if the path, whatever it's coming, it's not matching in the route whatever we configured, then take the user element to. All right, so then we're going to use the navigate option. Navigate from the React router DOM. So make sure that you're using the navigate. Then navigate the user, now navigate the page completely to the /home, the route which we defined over here. All right, so now if you save these changes, now even though if you are using this, that should take the user to the /home. All right, cool. So now we configured our initial route. So then let's jump into the home screen, and that's what we are going to do all the customizations over there.